There comes a moment in every nice guy's life when he's had enough. Not in a loud, dramatic way. No shouting, no fists through walls, just a cold, quiet realization. This isn't working. He gave, but got nothing back. He cared, but was overlooked. He played by the rules, but the world rewarded the ones who didn't. And in that moment, something inside him snaps. Not into anger, not into bitterness, but into something far more dangerous: indifference. And when the nice guy stops chasing, stops explaining, stops needing anyone's approval, he becomes something else entirely. The nice guy doesn't choose to be a nice guy. He's molded into it. From the moment he's old enough to understand the world, he's fed a narrative. Be good, be kind, be accommodating. Society drills it into his head that being polite, agreeable, and selfless is the golden ticket to success. Parents tell him, always be nice to people. Teachers reward him for being obedient, quiet, and cooperative. Movies push the idea that the self-sacrificing good guy always wins in the end. So, he grows up believing that if he's generous, always available, and puts others first, life will reward him. That's how he thinks respect, success, and love are earned, by proving that he's a good guy. He thinks that if he listens to people's problems, they'll appreciate him. If he never says no, people will like him. If he's patient enough, selfless enough, nice enough, life will eventually give him what he wants. But life doesn't work that way. He starts noticing patterns, painful ones. The girl he adores vents to him about the guy treating her like shit, and instead of choosing him, she runs back to the same guy who doesn't care. His boss expects him to work late without extra pay, while the guy who barely does anything gets promoted. His so-called friends only hit him up when they need something, but the moment he needs them, silence. He keeps telling himself, maybe I just need to try harder, be even nicer. But it never works. No matter how much effort he puts in, he's always the second choice, the backup plan. The guy people go to when they need something, but never when they actually want someone. And that's when it starts to hit him. Something is wrong. He's been doing everything right, yet somehow everything feels wrong. He's not respected, he's tolerated, he's not admired, he's used. And deep down, a frustration starts to build. A silent, gnawing anger at the realization that the world doesn't work the way he was told. The good guy doesn't always win. The most agreeable man isn't the one people desire. That's the moment the cracks start to show. The moment something inside him shifts. He doesn't know it yet, but this is the beginning of his transformation. The beginning of his journey from a nice guy to something else. Something stronger. Something untouchable. Every nice guy reaches a moment, a defining moment, when reality slaps him so hard it shatters everything he once believed. It doesn't happen gradually. It's not a slow realization. It's an event, a betrayal, a rejection, a moment so raw, so undeniable, that he can't ignore it anymore. Maybe it's when the woman he's been there for, always listening, always supporting, chooses the guy who barely lifts a finger. Maybe it's when his so-called friends laugh behind his back, calling him too soft, too nice, while he thought he was just being a good person. Maybe it's when he gets passed over for a promotion in favor of someone with half his work ethic but twice the confidence. And in that moment, something inside him breaks. Not in a loud, dramatic way. No shouting, no fists through walls, no public meltdown. It's quiet, a cold realization creeping up his spine. I've been lied to. The world isn't fair. People don't respect kindness. They respect strength. They admire confidence, detachment, power, not blind devotion. He finally understands that being nice without boundaries doesn't make him a better person. It makes him disposable. And that's when the shift begins. He stops making excuses for the people who mistreat him. He stops justifying why his kindness isn't being reciprocated. And most importantly, he stops blaming himself. He realizes that the issue was never that he wasn't nice enough. The issue was that he spent his life seeking validation instead of commanding respect. This is where the frustration turns into something else. Not bitterness, not hatred, something stronger, a quiet, unshakable resolve to never be that guy again. The nice guy is dead, and something new is about to take his place. The moment he realizes the truth, something inside him changes. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't tell anyone, But the way he moves, the way he thinks, the way he exists, it's different. He stops explaining himself. He used to feel this need to justify his actions, to make sure people understood where he was coming from. Not anymore. He sees now that the world doesn't care about explanations. It cares about results. So, he stops over-explaining. If he says no, it's a no. If he makes a decision, he stands by it. No more second-guessing, no more waiting for permission. He stops chasing. For years, he ran after people, women, friends, opportunities, thinking that effort would make them value him. But now he sees the truth. The more you chase, the faster people run. So he pulls back, stops texting first, stops over-investing in people who give him nothing in return, stops being available all the damn time. And suddenly, people notice the absence, the shift, the quiet detachment. And here's the crazy part. The less he cares, the more they do. He stopped seeking validation. The old him needed approval, needed to hear good job, needed to be liked. But now, he doesn't care. Approval doesn't feed him. Validation doesn't build him. He understands that true power comes from within, not from the opinions of others. He starts moving differently, speaks less, observes more, chooses his words carefully. No more nervous laughter. No more forced smiles, just presence, controlled, unshakable. He starts enjoying his own company. Before, solitude felt like loneliness. Now, it feels like freedom. He realizes he doesn't need constant company. He doesn't need to be surrounded by people to feel whole. He works on himself, his mind, his body, his skills. His solitude becomes his strength, his sanctuary. And without even trying, something shifts in the way people see him. The ones who used to overlook him, suddenly curious. The ones who took him for granted, suddenly confused. But he doesn't do it for them. He does it because he's done being that guy, the guy who bends, who waits, who hopes. That version of him is gone, and in his place, a man who moves on his own terms, a man who answers to no one, a man who chooses himself first. Now that he's broken free from the nice guy trap, he steps into something entirely different. He doesn't become an asshole. He doesn't turn bitter. He simply stops playing the game. And in doing so, he steps into the mindset of a Sigma male, a man who exists outside the hierarchy, who moves in silence, who answers to no one but himself. He stops trying to fit in. Once upon a time, he wanted to belong. He adjusted his personality, his words, even his opinions just to be accepted. Now, he doesn't give a damn. He's not trying to be part of a group, not chasing social circles, not playing by anyone's rules but his own. And ironically, that's what makes people want him around. The less he tries, the more they chase. He becomes selective. His time, his energy, his attention, these are no longer things he hands out for free. Before, he was always available, always ready to help, always ready to listen. But now, if you haven't earned his presence, you don't get it. He watches people closely, how they move, how they treat him, what value they bring. If they drain him, gone. If they bring chaos, cut off. If they play games, he disappears without a word. He stops explaining himself. Sigma males move in silence. They don't waste time justifying their actions or seeking permission. If he decides to walk away from a situation, he does. If he chooses to disappear, he does. No warnings, no drama, no need for approval. People may wonder why he changed, may question why he's different, but he doesn't owe them an answer. He moves with confidence, not arrogance. There's a difference between being an arrogant loudmouth and being calmly self-assured. The Sigma male doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. He doesn't need to brag, doesn't need to show off, doesn't need validation. His presence alone speaks for him. It's in the way he walks, the way he speaks, the way he carries himself. A quiet power. A presence that demands respect without asking for it. And here's the thing, people feel it. The ones who used to overlook him now watch him differently. The ones who disrespected him now tread carefully. The ones who used to ignore him now seek him out. But he's not doing it for them. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving anything. This is about him stepping into his own power. About him finally realizing he doesn't need anyone's approval to be the man he was always meant to be. Now, he walks a different path. A path most people don't understand. They wonder how he changed so much, why he's so different, why he doesn't need the things he once did. But he doesn't explain. He doesn't try to make them understand. He just lives. He thrives because he's no longer controlled by the opinions of others. He used to bend over backward trying to be liked, but now he sees how freeing it is to just be himself. No masks, no forced smiles, no pretending, just raw authenticity. And the best part, the more he embraces it, the more life bends toward him. Women notice, not because he's chasing, but because he's not. He's not begging for attention, not proving his worth, not seeking validation. He moves on his terms, and that mystery, that indifference, makes him magnetic. Opportunities open up. When he stopped chasing people, he had time to chase his own goals. He built skills, honed his mind, focused on his body, and became something rare, something people respect. And the crazy thing, the same world that once ignored him now seems to follow him. Because the truth is, people are drawn to strength, to men who don't need them but still stand tall in their presence. That's the Sigma effect. He doesn't do it for attention, doesn't do it for revenge. He does it because it's who he was meant to be all along. And that's the journey, from nice guy to Sigma male. A transformation that doesn't come from faking confidence or playing some act, but from breaking free. Free from the need to please, free from the fear of rejection, free from the idea that being nice will get you respect. So, if you ever wonder why people don't take you seriously, why you feel invisible, why it seems like everyone else is thriving except you, ask yourself, are you living for them or for yourself? Because the moment you stop seeking their approval, the moment you put yourself first, that's when everything changes. That's when you become dangerous. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.